I'd like to welcome you to this Vinyasa class. We're going to be doing some flows in a traditional Vinyasa style, kind of. So this is more of a yang class, but there's also some yin elements, so this is a bit of a moderate class. I would say it's more of a yin-yang balancing class. So let's get started. I'd like to start first, if we come down to our knees, and you can put a block or you can put a cushion underneath your calves here if you need a bit more room for your knees or hips, for example. And we're going to do something that's called a Taoist breath, just to start the body, start moving, and start the breath connection to the body. So with an inhale, let's take the arms up. So we reach towards the sky, and then we're going to grab the elbows as we exhale, pushing the walls aside. Let's take an inhale, arching the back as our fingers come to the shoulders. Exhaling, pushing forward as the spine curls. Flipping the hands up towards the sky as we come in the opposite direction with the back. And then folding forward into child's pose. And then let's do another one. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and exhaling. Make sure you work on the side. We're in child's pose. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do one more of these together as I face you. So inhale. Feeling the stretch, pushing the walls away. You're arching the back as the head comes back. Pushing away, arching the back, chin comes to the chest. Flipping the hands up, looking once again up towards the sky, and then pouring forward as the head comes to the floor. Let's take one breath here, and then let's come up to cat-cow. And once again, we're going to do some similar movements here. So we're just preparing the spine to wake up a bit. And we exhale as the spine comes up, and inhale as the chest shines forward. Just taking this at your own pace, just a few times. And then the next time, let's take the spine to neutral. We're going to do something that's called cat bird, and this is something that strengthens the spine. So I'd like you to do something that's called a brace, bracing the whole abs here. So imagine that the abs and the core go all the way around, so they're including your back, your ribs, they're including here in front. And so we want to expand and we want to contract at the same time. So we're bracing the spine. So let's come to cat here, and then cat bird is I'm going to make a fist, extending the arm out. I'm going to brace my whole abs and core here as I take the opposite leg. I drag the toe on the mat and then just lift it slightly up. You should feel this right away in your abs. And the leg should only come up a bit. You can even keep it even closer to the floor. It shouldn't come in up so high that your hips are not level. And so we're just inhaling and exhaling here, holding the pose, building some heat. And then coming back as we do the other side. Once again, we're making a fist. The toes drag back, come slightly off the floor as we engage the whole core. Taking a few breaths here, building heat. Let's just do it once more, just so you can get the idea of what the movement is. Dragging the toes back, engaging the core, engaging the back. Coming back to neutral, and let's do one more to the other side. Be careful, I mean, that's probably for me, not keep kicking the leg up too high. And then coming back. And so let's do some twists here. We'll do thread the needle. Just taking one shoulder onto the other. Relaxing the head to the floor. Taking a few breaths here. Relaxing into the stretch. Coming back to neutral, and let's do the other side. Making sure to keep the hips level. And then coming back to neutral. And I'd like you to take your hands out as we come into puppy. Come up as far as you can, taking the forehead to either a block or a cushion if you can't come, or to the floor. And this is stretching out the whole shoulders, the underarms. And I'm just leaning in to my forehead, releasing the shoulders. And then with your next inhale, you can move the hands back so we come into downward facing dog. And here you can experiment with how wide you'd like your legs. Whatever feels good for you is the right solution. How wide you want your hands. This is all up to your body, what feels good. So I invite you to experiment a bit over these 40 days and see which movements feel good in your body and what you need to do to modify the movements so that they do feel good in your body. So let's walk back up to a standing pose. Come slowly up, and we're going to take some half Surya Namaskars and then some full ones. So come to the front of the mat. So inhale, and then bending at the hips, exhale. Coming with a flat back forward. Inhale, exhale, bending at the hips, and then inhale, coming up. Hands together in prayer, melting down to the heart. Let's take one more of these half Surya Namaskars, called sun breaths. Inhaling, exhaling, and inhaling. Hands come together, melting down the heart. Now let's come to a full Surya Namaskar. We're going to do 2 on each side of low lunge, and then we're going to do 2 on each side with high lunge, but always feel free to substitute high lunge with low lunge. Okay? So coming up, inhaling, and then exhaling. Inhaling, long spine, right leg goes back, knee to the floor. So inhale, exhale, moving the other hand back. You push forward on the toes, coming down to push up. Coming up to a small cobra, and then back to downward facing dog. Right leg kicks up, coming to the front of the mat, low lunge. Inhale, exhale, coming back to the front of the mat. Inhale, long back, exhale, head comes down. Inhale, exhale, prayer. Other side. Inhale, exhale. Exhale, this time left leg goes back, knee to the ground, slight back bend, inhale, exhale, feet come together, pushing forward, and then coming down to push up, inhale, small cobra, and then back to downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. Left leg comes once more back to the front. Right knee down. Inhale. Exhale. As the feet come together, long spine. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now we'll come to one with high lunges. Feel free to substitute the low lunge. Inhale. Diving down. Exhale. Your right leg comes back to high lunge. Inhale, come up, back bend. Exhale, coming down. Feet together, moving forward. And then coming down. Cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. And then taking the right leg back. Coming up to high lunge on the other side. Slight back bend. Inhale, filling the lungs. Exhale, coming back. Feet come together. Spine long. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. We have one more. The other side. Inhale. Exhale, diving down. Inhale, long spine. Left leg comes back to high lunge. So the arms come up. Coming back down, feet together. Springing forward on the toes. Coming down. Inhaling to cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. As the left leg comes up, the high lunge on the other side. Inhale. Exhale. Legs come together. Inhale. Exhale. Head down. Inhale. Coming up. And exhale. Hands together. Closing the legs. So I hope you're a bit awake now and the energy is moving, and let's go through a warrior flow now. So I'd like you to take one of your feet forward. It makes no difference. I'm just making sure here that my heel's coming within my arch. The hips are off slightly at an angle. Coming up to warrior, looking over my front hand. I'm just settling the hips here, engaging the whole core. So I'm not collapsing in my hips, I'm supporting my body. And then let's come back to reverse warrior, just hanging over the back side. Imagine that there's a bit of a beach ball here or some space that you also don't collapse. You're still supporting. And then coming back to side angle. Again, imagining here that I'm between two panes of glass, that it's a stretch that's going right over my rib cage. My rib cage is just side here, and I'm also allowing space. And then straightening the leg as I come to triangle pose. You can look forward, or down, or up at your hand. And with your next inhale, let's come up. So we take the toes together, bending at the hips, into fan pose, allowing the head to release into the floor, or as far as it comes to the floor. You might need some books to place your hand on as we come into a twist. Breathing here. Taking the hand down. Forward fold. Let's come up to extend the spine halfway. And then all the way up as we switch to the other side. Let's take the other foot forward now as we come to warrior two on the second side. Again, strong in the abs, breathing, supporting your body. And I'm going to come to a reverse warrior, keeping space in the ribs. Coming forward to side angle, pushing the top arm away. Still allowing space on this side. And then straightening the leg to triangle pose, looking forward, up at your hand, or down. And then coming up to neutral. As we take the toes once more together, collapsing down, bending at the hips. Hand, opposite hand down to the floor as we come up to a twist. Breathing into the low back. And then releasing the hands down to a forward fold. Coming halfway up, extending the spine. Taking a breath here. And then coming all the way. And let's take the feet together as we come to chair pose. I'll show you from the side first. Taking hands up and imagining that you're moving back into an imaginary chair. So this is a great warming exercise. And I'd like you to take first your right, so your right hand and right elbow come underneath your left elbow. If you can, you grab your hand. If not, you can do a hug. And if you can do this movement, then we're just going to move the arms up and down to release the shoulders. I'll show you from the front view. And then while staying in chair pose, we're going to go off to the right side in a twist. So the point here is to keep the hips pointing forward. And I don't have the mobility in my shoulder to really hook my arms over here. You can come into prayer like this, but sometimes you're just like kind of jabbing your shoulder, laying where it doesn't belong. So I'm just going to put it in between my 2 feet because I don't have the flexibility in my shoulder, and then come up to a nice side twist. And then on my next inhale, I'm going to come up, extending the spine in the same twist. And then coming back up. I know we held that a long time. So let's go on to the other side. This time coming to chair pose. And this time the left elbow comes underneath the right elbow if you can, or the Hagasana. Moving the elbows and shoulders up and down, just stretching out here. As we warm up and invigorate the abs and the thighs. And this time, the left arm is going to come down between my legs as I come up into a twist on the opposite side. And then come up with a neutral spine into a twist, standing twist. And then let's come back up and release. That was fun, right? So now let's come to kneeling, and this is called diamond pose, and I'm going to do it stretching out the feet. So also make sure that the little toes are in for the ride. Push them down, and allow the weight to come down onto your feet, stretching out the feet. If this is too painful, you can take a break in between, but come back. And we're going to take some shoulder stretches, and either we're going to take and grab one shoulder like this, or if you have more flexibility in the shoulders, we're going to do this movement here. So just kind of decide which one is better for you. You can always try separate ones. You can also take a towel or take some kind of strap here if you can't reach your hands. And so let's just breathe into this shoulder stretch before we move to the other side. And then let's release. Moving off to the other side, so either grabbing the opposite elbow or coming and grabbing the opposite hand or towel or whatever belts that you have. And then not forgetting to breathe. And then let's release this. And now we're coming a bit more into the yin part. So let's come into child's pose. Releasing the hips down and the head down to the floor. And let's take a stretch, walking the fingers off to one side. Allowing the torso to drop, head to drop. Breathe into the low back, relax the shoulders. And let's walk the fingers back to the middle and off to the other side. Dropping again the hips, torso down, forehead down. Coming back to the middle. Coming back to sitting. And then let's come on to our sits bones as we come into Navasana, so boat pose. Making sure the spine is nice and neutral here, that we're really on our hip bones, our sitting bones here. Taking the hands out. Just taking a few breaths here, engaging the core. And then coming back down to position on the ground. We're going to do ankle to knee. Open up the hips a bit. Taking one ankle to the knee and then the hands behind the thigh. Allowing both hips to come to the floor. Feet are heavy. You can engage this foot here, so flex it, the foot on top of a knee. And then let's take this foot off to the floor. Stretch the eye end, stretching this entire line on the outside of the thigh. And then with your next exhale, you can bring the legs together. Take one hand on top of the thighs to give a bit of resistance as the other arm comes off and then diagonal if you'd like, off to the side. You can turn your head to look at your hand or at the ceiling. I like to go on the diagonal. It makes a nice stretch as I push away the thigh here and stretch the arm in the opposite direction. Take the knees again to the center. Take your knees to the nose. So we go off to the other side, taking the opposite ankle over the knee, flexing the foot, thigh to the hands. Breathing here. And then with your next exhale, let's take the top foot, the sole of the foot off to the floor. Feeling a nice stretch in the back of the hip. And then releasing into a full twist. Taking one hand to the thighs and then stretching the opposite arm away. And breathing into the twist, into the low back. Next exhale, release, coming back to the center. Knees to the nose, stretching out the back. And then coming into a well-deserved Shavasana. Here, just allowing the whole body to sink into the floor, release. Releasing your breath. Coming into a small rest. And I'd like to invite you to stay here in Shavasana as long as you would like. Relaxing the body. It's always important to have a rest after we do any kind of yin or even yang exercise, because it allows the body then to process the energy, to process the air that we breathed in, and you'll just feel better after doing it. It's after exertion is always rest. So please stay in Shavasana for at least 3 minutes, and you can extend it as long as you'd like. Thank you so much for the practice.